What happens after separation? In the previous investigation, we examined the mechanics of astral projection, the vibrational state, the transfer of awareness, and the layered structure of non-physical environments. But once awareness stabilizes beyond the physical body, a new question emerges. If the astral is structured, who else is there? Across cultures and decades of reports, projectors consistently describe encounters with non-physical beings. Some appear human, some appear distorted. Some resemble animals. Some feel intelligent, others feel predatory. The striking detail is not the imagery, it is the consistency. Independent accounts describe similar categories of entities, similar behaviors, and similar emotional effects, which raises an uncomfortable possibility. If astral projection is a perceptual interface event, then the astral environment may not be empty. It may be populated. In many early projections, the first layer encountered is often the real time zone, a close, energetic duplicate of physical reality. In this zone, beings may appear shadow-like, peripheral, observing, often motionless. These shadow forms are frequently reported during sleep paralysis and threshold states. They rarely interact directly, but their presence is unsettling. Why? Because awareness, when outside the body, is more sensitive. Fear amplifies perception, and perception amplifies form. One interpretation is psychological projection. Fragments of the subconscious externalized. Another interpretation is environmental wildlife. Non-human intelligences operating within that layer of reality. Regardless of origin, one pattern remains consistent. Fear feeds instability. When a projector reacts with panic, environments distort, forms intensify, encounters escalate. When the projector remains calm, the same entities often lose definition or withdraw. This suggests something critical. Astral environments may respond directly to emotional resonance, which means the first rule of encountering astral beings is not aggression. It is emotional control. Beyond shadow forms, reports often describe a second category: passive wildlife. These entities behave more like animals than humans. They move through environments with little interest in the projector. They appear territorial, but not necessarily hostile. Some resemble distorted animals. Others appear as abstract energy shapes. Some move in groups. In many accounts, these forms are described as instinct-driven, curious but not communicative. If the astral is layered and structured, then it may include ecological dynamics, patterns of movement and behavior not centered around human awareness. And this is where a major mistake occurs. Many beginners assume that everything encountered is symbolic. A dream figure, a mental fragment, an illusion. But repeated patterns across independent reports suggest that not every encounter is self-generated. Some behave autonomously. They observe. They avoid. They retreat. They sometimes approach. The third and more controversial category involves interactive intelligences. These are the entities most often described as guides or as parasites. Reports diverge sharply here. Some projectors describe luminous beings offering insight. Others describe oppressive presences draining energy or inducing fear. The emotional signature becomes the differentiator. Luminous encounters are frequently associated with clarity and calm. Oppressive encounters correlate with anxiety and instability. The warning here is subtle but important. Not every non-physical intelligence is benevolent, and not every perceived guide is what it appears to be. If astral environments respond to belief and expectation, then deception is possible. Not necessarily malicious deception, but perceptual distortion. A fearful mind may interpret neutral presence as threat. An overeager mind may interpret neutral presence as divine guidance. This is why emotional neutrality is critical. The projector must stabilize awareness before assigning meaning. Another recurring report involves energy exchange. Some projectors describe sensations of being drained during negative encounters. A sudden heaviness, a loss of clarity, a collapse of projection. Whether interpreted as psychological overwhelm or energetic interaction, the pattern remains. The encounter ends the experience, which introduces a fundamental warning. Projection without preparation increases vulnerability. If astral projection is an interface shift, then you are operating in an environment where emotion is amplified. Unresolved fear becomes visible. Suppressed anger becomes shape. Anxiety becomes magnetism. Some encounters may not be external beings at all. They may be the shadow self-externalized. And confronting that shadow can feel indistinguishable from confronting an entity. This is why disciplined preparation matters. Energy conditioning, emotional regulation, mental clarity. Without those, the projector enters unstable territory, and instability attracts turbulence. There is also a repeated caution found across experienced practitioners. Do not attempt to fight. Aggression strengthens opposition. Resistance amplifies distortion. Instead, project calm. Project indifference. Project authority through composure. In many reports, negative entities lose coherence when ignored. They fade when not fed, which implies something profound. The astral may operate on resonance mechanics. Attention and emotion are fuel. Withdraw fuel and the form destabilizes. This is not fantasy heroism. It is psychological discipline. The final category worth examining is rare but consistent. Observers. Projectors who report feeling watched from a distance. Not attacked. Not guided. Simply observed. These presences do not interfere. They do not approach. They remain beyond immediate reach. Whether these are higher intelligences, autonomous field phenomena, or projection artifacts remains unknown. But their recurrence across accounts suggests that the astral may include layers beyond immediate interaction, and that human awareness may not be the dominant force within it. So what is the actual warning here? Not that astral projection is inherently dangerous, but that it is not empty. It may be structured. It may be populated. It may reflect the projector's internal state. And entering it casually, without emotional stability, increases the likelihood of destabilizing encounters. The core principle remains consistent. Control your state. Stabilize awareness. Do not react impulsively. Do not assign meaning prematurely. And above all, do not feed fear. Because in an environment where perception shapes reality, fear becomes architecture. In the next investigation, we examine how emotional resonance determines altitude within astral layers, and why some environments feel heavy, while others feel luminous. Because if the astral is populated, then the question is not only who is there, but where you are within it.